Sheryl Swoopes is no stranger to making waves. Known for her storied career and incredible skills on the basketball court, Swoopes has always commanded attention. But her competitive spirit didn't retire with her jersey. Recently, Swoopes made it clear that she still isn't ready to let go of the spotlight or the competition. When she took aim at rising star Caitlin Clark in a playful yet intense back-and-forth that seems to highlight her lingering need to prove she's still got it. The debate centered around one thing: my 34 is better than her 35. This statement, casually dropped by Swoopes, reignited the age-old comparison game in sports: who wore it better, who played it better, and who truly owns their number. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Caitlin Clark, for her part, has been dazzling on the court since she first stepped into the limelight. Her ability to shoot from almost anywhere on the floor, coupled with her uncanny court vision, makes her a force to be reckoned with. Wearing the number 35, Clark embodies the next generation of women's basketball stars, confident, assertive, and ready to take on all challengers. Her number has become synonymous with her rise, as it has for so many other athletes before her. But for Swoopes, there seems to be something about the numbers that go beyond mere digits. Swoopes' connection to 34 is more than just a uniform choice. It's a symbol of her dominance, her accolades, and her legacy in the sport. From being a WNBA MVP to securing multiple championships and Olympic medals, her number was tied to every major milestone in her illustrious career. The 34 that she donned through her playing years became her signature, much like Michael Jordan's 23 or Kobe Bryant's 24. It's a number that holds weight, and she doesn't seem to appreciate it being overshadowed by a new name wearing something just a tick higher in numerical value. When Swoopes first started in on Clark, it didn't come as a surprise to those who know her well. Swoopes has always had a way of owning the spotlight, whether it's on the court or in interviews. She's sharp, confident, and perhaps a bit stubborn when it comes to her place in basketball history. So when she proclaimed that her 34 is better than Clark's 35, it wasn't just a statement of fact for Swoopes. It was a declaration of continued relevance. It was her way of saying that despite the years that have passed since her prime, she's still here, still watching, and still sizing up the competition. Clark's response, as many expected, was filled with the youthful swagger that has come to define her game. The young star didn't back down from the implied challenge. Instead, she seemed to embrace it, even laughing it off at times. But underneath her light-hearted reaction was a clear message: Clark isn't just here to take part in the game. She's here to leave her own mark, and no one, not even a legend like Swoopes, is going to make her second-guess herself. The battle of the numbers, as some fans have dubbed it, is less about who is better at basketball and more about who can keep the conversation alive, who can generate more buzz, and who can lay claim to owning your legacy. In the world of professional sports, rivalries aren't always built on games or matchups. Sometimes they're born out of personality and pride. For Swoopes, her back and forth with Clark seems to be fueled by a need to remind everyone who came first, who blazed the trail, and who deserves respect. It's a classic case of the veteran refusing to be overlooked by the next generation, and for someone as competitive as Swoopes, that's not an easy pill to swallow. Clark, meanwhile, appears to understand this dynamic perfectly. She's not looking to disrespect Swoopes, but at the same time, she's not interested in playing the role of an heir apparent. Clark isn't here to be the next Swoopes, she's here to be Caitlin Clark, and that comes with its own expectations and pressures. The dynamic between Swoopes and Clark is something both amusing and revealing. Swoopes isn't above poking fun at herself, but there's also a genuine undertone to her comments. She seems to want recognition for her place in basketball's history, and for everything she accomplished wearing that number 34. In some ways, her playful jabs at Clark are less about the young star and more about ensuring that her own legacy doesn't get lost in the shuffle of new names, fresh faces, and changing times. Clark, on the other hand, represents the inevitable shift that happens in every sport, the passing of the torch, so to speak, whether the old guard is ready for it or not. It's easy to see why Swoopes might feel a little protective of her number. After all, numbers in sports aren't just arbitrary digits, they carry meaning. They symbolized everything from personal success to team identity. For Swoopes, that 34 wasn't just a number. It was a badge of honor, a reminder of her battles won, and her place in a rapidly evolving league. The WNBA, when Swoopes entered it, was still finding its footing, and she was among the first to put it on the map. So if you see a young star like Clark coming up and possibly eclipsing her, with a slightly higher number, it's bound to sting a little, even if it's all in good fun. Clark's approach to the whole situation is another fascinating element of this ongoing conversation. She seems unfazed by the comparisons, and in a way, that's part of what makes her so compelling as a player. Clark isn't out to replicate anyone else's career. She's building her own. And if she can do that while wearing the number 35 and giving a little nod to Swoopes in the process, then so be it. There's a quiet confidence to Clark that allows her to let Swoopes have her say without feeling the need to fire back too aggressively. It's almost as if Clark understands that Swoopes' jabs are less about her and more about the natural cycle of sports. At its heart, the Swoopes versus Clark debate over jersey numbers is more symbolic than anything else. It's a reflection of the way athletes, and by extension fans, attach meaning to the most seemingly insignificant details. A number on a jersey is just a number until someone makes it mean something more. For Swoopes, 34 means greatness, legacy, and a place in history that she's determined to hold on to. For Clark, 35 is simply a number that represents her current journey, one that's still unfolding with every game she plays. As the banter continues between Swoopes and Clark, there's a sense that this isn't just about two basketball players comparing numbers. It's about the broader conversation of what it means to have a legacy, and what it means to be the new face of a sport that's constantly evolving. Swoopes knows what it's like to be at the top, and she knows what it's like to fight for respect in a league that wasn't always given its due. Clark is in the process of discovering that same fight, albeit in a very different era, where social media amplifies everything and where the spotlight burns brighter than ever before. For fans, this playful rivalry is a reminder of how much passion and pride exist in sports, even off the court. The fact that a number can spark such a debate speaks to the deep emotional ties that athletes and their followers form with their careers. Swoopes' insistence that her 34 is better than Clark's 35 isn't just a statement. It's a testament to how much of herself she poured into her career. Clark, meanwhile, represents the future, but she's doing it her own way, with her own number and on her own terms. As the basketball community watches this dynamic unfold, there's no doubt that Swoopes and Clark will continue to exchange jabs and subtle nods, keeping the conversation alive. What started as a playful comparison has turned into a lighthearted, yet pointed, reflection on legacy, competition, and the ever-present desire for recognition. Swoopes might have retired from the court, but she hasn't retired from making her presence felt. And Clark, with all the confidence of a young star on the rise, is content to keep doing what she does best, playing her game and letting her performance speak for itself. In the end, the numbers themselves don't really matter as much as what they represent. For Swoopes, 34 is her past, her legacy, and her way of reminding the world that she's still very much a part of the basketball conversation. For Clark, 35 is her present, her way of carving out her own space in the sport, without stepping on anyone's toes but also without apologizing for her success. The number debate is just another layer to the ongoing story of sports, a story where the past and the future often find themselves in playful, sometimes tense, competition for the spotlight. But that's the beauty of the game. There's always room for more, whether it's a 34, a 35, or something entirely different. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.